So, welcome everyone. I'm Inge van Nieuwenburg from Ghent University, and I'm happy to see you here in our webinar, the webinar Opportunities and Challenges in Practicing Open Science, which is a collaboration of two university alliances, namely ENLIGHT and Arqus. We decided together to have a webinar series on open science for open science ambassadors, and where they also can contribute. We have asked our ambassadors, what would you like to talk about in a webinar? What do you want to exchange views on? And this theme of today is one of the themes that came out of that questionnaire. Just very quickly, so that you know what is ENLIGHT, what is Arqus. Remind me, I don't have it clearly in my mind anymore. So there is the European Universities Initiative from the European Commission, where universities are encouraged to form alliances, to collaborate more on a transnational basis, and make them to become universities of the future. And there were several batches of to start these alliances, and ENLIGHT and Arqus are two of these alliances that have started in the recent years. Now, originally, this is Erasmus Plus alliances, so focused mainly on education. But there's also a component of research because, of course, our students are more than students. They learn on research, they research together with the researchers at our universities. So it should be an interaction between both. So there is a research and innovation agenda in these alliances. In all these alliances, and most of them also include a module on open science, which is, of course, a very important transformative evolution in science. To achieve excellent science, open science practices are part of doing research in the whole. So, but we know that practicing open science in real research in your daily processes is not always easy. So that is something that we want to talk about. What are your challenges? What are the solutions that you have found? And let's talk about this together with the 19 universities that are combined in our alliances. So in ENLIGHT, there are 10 universities represented, and in Arqus 9. So that's already quite a batch of universities and of knowledge that we can pool all together. So, as said, within the open science teams of these alliances, we have ambassador programs, and we ask our ambassadors, what do you want to talk about? So what we do now for this winter is to have a webinar series. And this is the first webinar in that series, and 2 more are planned, namely on the 28th of February and on the 22nd of April. So already note this in your agenda. You can already find information on the second one, pros and cons of open science. So that will be the next webinar, and join us on that day. Now, today, what is the agenda of opportunities and challenges in practicing open science? We will first, Pia Voigt will first do a presentation on open science practices in the European University Alliances, and that is actually a basis for our discussion. So I would say, do not hesitate to engage, ask questions or put remarks in the chat during the presentation. And if you have any concerns that you would like to see addressed in any of the webinars, don't hesitate to put them there as well, so that we can take that up. We won't stop after the 3rd webinar. Our intention is to keep going. And don't hesitate to do that. And secondly, of course, don't hesitate to raise your hand and engage in the discussion that we will have here online. So without further ado, I will give the floor to Pia.
So just a few words about me. So I am actually a research data consultant at the Leipzig University, and I'm a member of the Arqus Alliance, and especially of the Arqus Research and Innovation Project. And together with Daniela Pichler, who's also here today, I lead the open science agenda within the Arqus Research and Innovation Project. And in this framework, we asked researchers about their practices, obstacles, and needs regarding open science. And today I will present you some thoughts about that and our results of a survey that we conducted last year among the researchers of the Arqus University Alliance. So this is what I want to talk about today. And first, a short overview on what open science means in our alliance and what we how we define open science. After that, just a few words on the open science survey that we conducted among the researchers, and the main part will be the survey results. So this is our main focus here in the webinar to talk about current practices, about obstacles, hurdles, and about how to overcome these. Let's start. So what is open science in Arqus? I think this is nearly the same as in every university alliance. So open science is mainly a cross-cutting topic in the research dimension in the Arqus Alliance. So open science is a basic principle of doing research within the Alliance. And we tried to define open science, as you can see here on the slide. And we developed and published an openness position paper in 2022. And we also developed a so-called Open Science Cosmos that you can see here on the right, with all open science related topics that we thought that are important for practicing open science. And as you can see, we also included citizen science here. And citizen science is also a single work package in the Alliance. And so we go into detail in this work package, but not here in the open science agenda. And we have also one work package that thought about the open science evaluation regarding the changing research assessment system. Yes, and all these results are going or were put together, and we work together on the whole open science dimension in the Arqus Alliance. So we also identified some aims and values concerning open science or regarding open science. As you can see here, and I think this is the most common definition and the most common aspects on open science aims and values that we all share regarding open science. And we know that researchers are confronted with a lot of hurdles regarding open science practicing. So there are some aspects like open access publishing or open data sharing that are more and more accepted in the research community. So this is something that goes along with the requirements of research funding agencies, for example, of an increasing development of policies regarding open publishing, open data sharing, open science as a whole. But there are some activities that goes along with a lot of effort and with less values for researchers. And so we thought that we could ask them, what are your current practices, and what are the obstacles that you are confronted with when practicing open science? And we conducted a survey, so in summer 2022, so this was a digital questionnaire, and we tried to reach all researchers at PhD level and above from our alliances universities that were at this time just 6, so Granada, Graz, Leipzig, Lyon, Padua, and Vilnius. And we got 602 researchers to complete the questionnaire. So we have a lot of answers on our questions, and we asked them about their current open science knowledge and experience, about obstacles, about their wishes, and about their support situations at their respective universities, and about their needs regarding open science practicing. And the results were that most of the participants answered that they know some aspects on open science, and that the most can give a good explanation, or that the second most can give a good explanation on open science. And the people that never heard about open science, or just heard about it in some cases, are the minority in our survey results. Most of them published open access and practice science communication and share their research data. So this is also something that goes along with the requirements of the research funding agencies, or with the practices at their scientific, or in their scientific communities, or with the policies at their universities. So pre-registration is not so common. And on the opposite side, and to share, for example, methodologies or protocols is also a less doing activity. And also practicing citizen science, or incorporate open research agenda setting in their research project, is also not so common compared to publishing open access, for example. And we asked them also on their opinion about which open science activities are most important for their career. And this is also less surprising. Also, publish open access is rated as the most important open science activity for the career of researchers. Practicing practicing science communication is also rated on a higher position, but it's just around 30%. So compared to publishing open access for 70%, it's very less important for researchers' careers, and also sharing research data, and the other one that you can see here. On the other hand, open science activities that were described as most important for society, practicing science communication is the highest rated open science activity, and also publishing open access and conduct open education projects. So everything that goes along with educate society, or for sharing research results in a less standardized way. I would describe, for example, open education project. So this is also, so this is not so standardized as, for example, a researcher's or a research publication, or sharing research data that goes along with standardized metadata and so on. Yes. So what we conclude from these results is that so most participants rate their knowledge as intermediate, and the most common open science practices are publishing open access, communicate research and results to the public, and share research data. Most important for their career are the same one. But if researchers have to rate the most important open science activities for society, things will change, and communicate research to the public and conduct open science education projects will rate on a higher level. And we conclude that researchers claim to do these open science practices that are presumably driven by increasing awareness on their research results, and also on reusability and transparency of their research results and data and so on. And the expectations maybe are that current research assessment criteria that are mostly based on quantitative criteria are the main drivers for practicing publishing open access or sharing research data. The funding requirements also goes along with that, and the researchers got less or have to make less effort on practicing those open science activities, because they are or they were practiced for a long time already. For example, open access is not new, so this is a long practiced open science activity, and so the effort will be not so high compared to, for example, open science education project. Yes, and we conclude that, or we suppose that researchers are also aware on the fact that research is a common good, and on their responsibility regarding the society, and on increasing trustworthiness on their research results. The second part of our survey asked on the obstacles that goes along with open science practicing, and the most given answer on that fact is that researchers state that they have missing information and institutional support on open science practicing. Academic competition is very important because of the current research assessment system. And this could be combined with that open science is not part of the current research assessment. Yes, and the main reasons that researchers did not practice open science is, despite the fact that most of our participants state that they do open science already, that they have not enough skills, that there's no funding and not enough time for practicing open science. So what we conclude on that is that the most of the participants that take part in this survey already practiced open science. And in order to reach more researchers for practicing open science, and in order to raise or to get more openness into research practices, researchers need to advance their knowledge on open science and get appropriate recognition and being valued for their effort. So this is very important, and that they will be assessed by their open science practices. Despite that, researchers normally need more time and human resources for practicing openness. And they should receive support from their respective institutions and science communities. But the institutions are more important than the communities normally, because the communities are normally the main drivers for raise awareness and for enhancing open science. And one important fact is also that researchers need appropriate funding for practicing open science. Yes, and we state that researchers are under pressure, mainly regarding the academic competition and the current research assessment system. So the keyword is publish or perish, that you all have heard, I suppose. And so that they, for example, need to protect their data to perform as best as they can in academic competition, and are not willing to share research data with the community in most of the cases. There's also a lack of time and financial resources. So if you get funding, you have normally a time span of 3 or sometimes 5 years of doing your research project, and there's no additional time for example, preparing and conducting open educational projects, or get training on science communication, or prepare your research data for publication, and so on. And this is additional effort for researchers for practicing open science. And the increasing effort goes along with not enough recognition for this open science activities. And the question, who supports researchers at the Arqus universities, are also not so surprising. The main institutions that support researchers in practicing open science are the library and the college. But most of the participants state that they don't get any support at their universities. And so this is a question, is that really the case? But so that we know that all of our Arqus universities have or offer open science support, mainly at the library, but also at research departments, for example, or at computing centers and so on. And so the question is, are these support offers visible enough, or is it really the case that there is no open science support at the universities? So, and on our question, how could your university support you? Researchers state in the free text answers that that the universities should offer more courses on open science, should provide more human resources for supporting open science activities, providing training also in technical skills, for example, related to data sharing and reproducible codes and so on, by creating an open science department, and financial support for publishing open access. So since open access publishing is very, very expensive, and and the funding opportunities at university are in the most cases not enough for publishing, or for get enough funding to pay the publishing fees for open access articles. And despite that, universities could also organize more science communication events, also for society and for the scientific community. Yeah, funding should be more accessible for researchers, and open science should be a part of the research evaluation at universities. And very important, increase also the benefits of practicing open science for career advancement. So, and this goes along also with the with the value of the effort on practicing open science, and for being part of the research evaluation system. What we conclude is that there's a lack of institutional support, and if institutions want to engage researchers to practice open science activities, they should provide guidelines and policies, and support should provide support offers based on the needs of the target groups. And yes, participants, as I said, so participants were mainly supported by research libraries and colleagues and supervisors. And yeah, I also talked about the fact that we don't know why they rate that they don't get any support. Yes, and institutions should work on make these open science offers or service offers more visible. Okay, so these were the results of our survey, and we want to give you some notes on the evaluation. So there is a certain imbalance of answers from our participating university. So 602 results are not less, but also not so high as they could be in our university alliance. So we have no complete picture, of course, of the requirements and how to start with open science, or on the obstacles that researchers are confronted with. But this is, I think, a fact that goes along with all surveys at this level. And there could be a possible bias in the results, so that mainly researchers who are already interested in practicing open science also participated in that survey. And we don't reach those researchers that never heard about open science in that way that we wanted to reach these researchers. Yeah, but this is also a fact that goes along with surveys in general, I think. And yeah, we don't took into account, of course, national, institutional, and discipline-specific requirements and priorities, since our survey was conducted on the alliance level and not on the institutional or discipline-specific level. Okay, and to conclude my presentation for today, I would give you some some last words on that topic. So the participants in our survey were mostly aware of open science, and the most common activities were open access publishing, data sharing, and science communication. Support is mostly provided by libraries and colleagues, and other institutional support is rated very low in this survey. And for society, knowledge transfer and communication were rated as very important for open science activities. The most common obstacles are a lack of financial support, missing rewards and incentives, missing skills and competencies, and missing institutional support. And we conclude that, of course, openness is not an aim in itself. So it is mostly effortful and binds a lot of resources. And open science also needs quality control mechanisms, for example, guidelines and standards that gave researchers the kind of security when they practice open science. And discipline and institution-specific differences should be taken into account. So we know from our discussion within our work package that some universities provide a lot of support at their universities, and they have also national guidelines and institutional guidelines on open science and so on. And for example, in Lyon and Granada. And on the other hand, for example, in Leipzig, we have, or in Germany in general, we have no national open science guidelines or policy. And not all German universities have a specific open science policy, for example, or a specific open science support offices and so on. So this is a thing that should be taken into account. And there's a close relation of open science and quality-based criteria for research assessment. So it's worth it to think these two topics together. And institutions should be transparent about their strategic goals and implementing and incentivizing open science, for showing researchers that they are aware of this topic, that they value their efforts regarding open science, and that researchers could be part of this changing process on opening up science. Yes, and that's all. Thank you very much.